Cello, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to another Demystify the Divine weekly readings and tools to connect. First of all, just want to say thank you to everyone, all of my loyal Winged Wednesday peeps for hanging in with us the last 2 weeks. Has been kind of an interesting shit show technically. And well, last week it was, but I didn't have to deal with it. I had pre-recorded it, but poor Keone had to deal with it. So I really I'm hoping that today we have no glitches, that we're able to connect through YouTube as well as Facebook, and we're not having any problems or any delays, because let's face it, Winged Wednesday's been going on for 5 years, and I want to be able to share this souped up version of Winged Wednesday with everyone who is used to that, who's on Facebook. So thank you all so much for hanging in. Really appreciate you. Go ahead, Keone.
Well, thank you for the added pressure. Thanks.
You're absolutely welcome. Absolutely welcome. No, the reason why everything works is because of Keone. So I'm grateful to him, especially because last week I got to visit with my family who I had not seen in almost 4 years, peeps, 4 years. So it had already been like 2 years that we had seen each other, and then COVID hit. So it was just, honestly, my heart is full. I'm not going to lie. My heart is absolutely full. So it felt really, really good to be able to connect. And my niece and nephew are a riot. They're 10 and 12. And they just made me giggle and laugh the whole time. So yeah, it was great. So thank you all for your patience, for hanging in. Let's get to it. Let's do some divining and see what we got going on today. So first of all, if you like what you see here, feel free to like, subscribe, and click the bell on that YouTube, or hit your likes, use your comments in Facebook. Also, Keone is really good about setting things up. If you want to come on live and ask a question during our Grab Your Decks portion of the show, I think he's going to put a link in the comments. So you can click on the link, or you can go to keoneproductions@gmail.com, and in the subject matter, say that you want to go live for Demystify. Would love to have you guys on. So what this kind of consists of is we get a little bit of channeling, we get a little bit of divining, we get a little bit of the Stacy Oracle, we get cards, we get tarot and oracle cards, we get an opportunity for you to ask questions and to be able to learn how to use your deck, make it work for you, along with a really in-depth general reading for the energies moving forward for the week to come. So are you ready? I know I am. So I'm going to close my eyes right now, go into my happy place, and we are going to do a word of the week, find out what our word of the week is, and sometimes it's a phrase of the week. So let's see what they got coming up for us. Happiness is the key. So I'm feeling like this week, the energy that I'm sort of tapping into is one where there's going to be a lot that we can choose to get a little lower in our vibrational energy with, or we can choose the happiness. Happiness is the key. There's a lot that is kind of in the air that I feel is going to be a bit disruptive to everyone's peace. And this feels like I'm talking about sort of globally rather than sort of on an individual level. But most of us who are watching this show, let's face it, pretty much all of us, we're sensitives, we're open, we're receptive. We know that there are different things going on, and we can tap into those different things that are going on beyond the illusion of sort of what we see with our own two eyes. And so I feel with that, what we're really tapping into here is that you are going to be a bit sensitive to these energies, and it is going to be a choice for you to be able to say, yeah, I'm not going to tune into that right now, or I'm not going to allow that to affect my happiness, and I'm going to step into that happiness space, because it is the key to helping me to keep my vibe high, and it is the key to allowing me to have more understanding and awareness from a 3D perspective, as well as from that higher dimensional perspective of, or I would say a spiritual perspective of what I'm here to do. I'm also hearing, when we're talking about happiness is the key, I'm feeling very much that our dream team, our collective dream team, is letting us know that happiness, we want to treat happiness like something tangible, like a key that you can actually put into a lock or a door that you can literally go unlock and open up the treasure trove, open up and see what else is there. That the key is the frequency of happiness. The key is staying in that higher vibration. It doesn't mean we are bypassing what's going on in our world. It doesn't mean that we aren't acknowledging the things that are sad, the things that are disconcerting, the things that really rock us to our core. It's simply saying, okay, and in my world, in my sphere, when I choose to stay in that frequency of happiness, I am able to spread that happiness to others. And again, it's not bypassing, it's simply acknowledging and then saying, and in my world right now, in this moment right now, everything is okay. In my world right now, I've got my needs met. In my world right now, I'm going to choose to contribute positivity. I'm going to choose to contribute happiness and joy, because that's going to unlock blockages that others are receiving, that others are sitting in, that others aren't even aware that they have. All of us are playing a role this week in healing others. So whether you consider yourself a healer or not, I feel that it's sort of the ripple effect that you, through this happiness energy, you're able to help others around you to heal and help others around you to remain lighter and to not dive down as deep as they might normally go when something like this sort of transpires. So see yourself this week as having the opportunity to heal others when you choose happiness as the key, when you step into that frequency and use it as the key that unlocks it sounds so dirty, unlocks someone else's box. So I'm telling you, the dream team did not say that. That's coming from me. That's my interpretation. But when you can unlock that treasure trove of, I want to say, of divine deliciousness, of all of that energetic, that's what we want. That is going to be the key to keeping all of us, I want to say, above the fray. And quite honestly, people who are watching this is what we need to do. This is why we are here. We are here to elevate the planet. We are here to elevate humanity. So when we are not in a space of elevation, we're not actually helping. We are, I want to say, contributing to, I don't want to say the problem, but we're contributing to the negativity the very negativity we want to see reversed. Right? So it's important for us to understand our mission. It's important for us to understand our purpose here, and that is to elevate, to keep things high and happy. And again, you might not always feel happy. And believe me, I'm right there with you. There are times when I'm like, and, screw source for telling me this. I don't want to do it. I'm not doing it. But, and then when I kind of have my little temper tantrum and I go, okay, I've cleared that out of my system. It needed to go. And now it's time to raise the vibration. It's time to step into the frequency that really is my truth. It is my core. And I feel that a lot of that is your core too. So don't beat yourself up if you're having a hard time, keeping it super high and light. We don't need Pollyanna here, but we do need, I want to say, we do need that awareness and that energy. And most of us, we're vibing at a higher vibe and frequency anyway. So you want to understand that, let's say your 60% is better than most people's 100%. So understand that as well, that, just bring what you got. If you don't have 100%, but you got, 10, bring that 10%, because that 10% is going to make a difference. It's going to add to the pile of happiness that we're all trying to elevate ourselves into. Interesting message. All right. So, Keone, what time is it? How cool is that? I have
I
all these
almost answered you when you scream my name. I almost go, what?
kind of like it's like your mother saying, Keone!
Because I'm over here, I'm typing, I'm answering things, and then all of a sudden I hear Keone, and I look up like, what? What do you mean?
You can totally say what to me. I'm totally fine with that. I'll just roll with it. It's all good.
I know, I love you.
So today we are pulling our tarot card from Tarot de la Nuit. It is a beautiful tarot deck by Caroline Eskenazi. And let's see what our accompanying theme is. Oh, I forgot the channeling. Crap, I'm supposed to do the angel channeling. See, I don't have it in my cycle yet, so I'm going to do the angel channeling after the card pull. So Keone, you're on it now to remind me to do that so that I don't forget.
Okay, I'll just put that on my list of 1,000 things you want me to do in an hour. Yes.
Perfect. I think that's great. Fabulous. Well, you know, I am the star.
Yes, you are.
I tell all my friends all the time, I'm like, when I have to wait at a restaurant, I'm like, don't they know who I am?
Okay.
Like, how could they make me wait? And of course, I'm being totally facetious, peeps. I'm really being
I'm
facetious.
going to tell you this. If you keep being the star around me, you're going to see a moon.
Oh, well, there we go. So you're keeping it real. You're keeping me humble. You're keeping me humble. As is everything else in my life. I am not a patient person. So sometimes I'm like, can't you just make an exception? No. All right. Our card for this week is 9 of Swords. And you know what's really funny, guys, is this card has been coming up for me a lot in my own personal readings just in the last week and a half. So I feel like there's definitely an energy for us. So it's interesting that the phrase of the week was happiness is the key, because 9 of Swords in tarot is typically referred to as the card of sorrow. So I find that really interesting. You know, there's joy and sorrow, or happiness and sorrow. It's not an exact match, but I'm going to make it work for me for my purposes tonight. So the card of sorrow, and basically 9 of Swords is indicative of you getting totally caught up in your head. It's monkey mind energy to the nth degree. It's also, I want to say, a little bit of victim status or victim mode, where we're in a space of, okay, things are not going the way that I thought they should go. Things are not in a space that I want them to be in. Maybe I am in a place of grief and loss, and I can't seem to see my way through it. So I feel like it's really interesting that 9 of Swords is coming up this week, because when we talk about happiness is the key, 9 of Swords is giving us a little bit of a heads up that there is going to be this energy in the collective. We are going to be seeing this and feeling this and watching others step into, I want to say, a victim mentality, or stepping into deep sorrow for what it is that they're witnessing, that they feel that they can't do anything about. And so our responsibility on an individual level this week, I feel, is really about keeping the vibe high. It's not doing it from a place of insulting somebody or negating their feelings or emotions. You want to use discretion, and you want to, I want to say, use discernment around if you're seeing someone struggling and you feel like they would not receive a everything is awesome message. Don't give them an everything is awesome message. Step into that space of compassion. Step into that space of empowerment, or of just simply being a vessel, holding space for that individual. And in your mind and from your heart space, you can send them the happiness vibes. You can send them that energy. It's almost like you can send them their own key. And from a subconscious perspective, or I want to say from their high self perspective, they will use that key, or they will be appreciative of that energy in their own time and in their own pace. So there are going to be times this week when you get to be the cheerleader for someone, you get to be the empowerer. And then there are going to be times, and I want to say you get to be that obviously, or verbally, or in their face. And then there are going to be times when you're going to get to be that in silence. So I'm feeling this week that it's really important. I don't want to say brace yourselves because that implies too much darkness, too much energy. And quite honestly, we've had a lot of that over the last couple of years. What I want to say instead is we are being given a bit of foresight into the energy of the collective. And you have a choice to say how you choose to interact with that energy. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to interact and commiserate? Are you going to interact by integrating happiness and joy, by being aware of the energy that you are leading with? Or are you going to contribute maybe in a quieter way? Maybe you're taking a step back and you are feeling what you're feeling and acknowledging what you're seeing, and then also providing a vision for what you would like to see moving forward. We all have a choice. It's all about the choice. And you guys know I always say reaction versus response. This is a kind of a bigger example of that beautiful opportunity that we have. This is why we have free will, because we do have the opportunity to choose how we're going to show up. And so I feel like that's why the Nine of Swords is coming through. You're going to run into people who are feeling victim-y. You're going to run into people who are genuinely feeling loss, feeling sorrow, feeling hopeless, feeling like they don't know what to do and they don't know where to turn. This is where you have the opportunity to shine your light. And you can do it in silence. You can do it out loud. You can do it by holding space. There are many ways to show up, to communicate. There are many ways to express compassion. And don't forget about the energetic path, because the energetic path might not be the obvious path or the path that others see, but we all know that it works. It's viable. And even if they don't know where that feeling is coming from, that feeling of compassion or comfort or ease, or just that feeling like there's a hug, around their heart, they might not know where it's coming from, but they're going to feel it. They're going to experience it in their own way. And this is what each of us has the opportunity to provide. Let's choose to be happy about that. It is even more than a silver lining to the dark cloud that we're in. It is our magic. It is our superpower. And it's collectively our superpowers. Everybody who's watching this, it's collectively our superpowers. Okay, so our oracle deck today is from one of my favorite oracle creators, Colette Baron-Reid, and this is Wisdom of the Oracle. And normally with my sort of Virgo sun and a Libra rising, so sometimes I'm very matchy and things have to be in balance and be beautiful. I wouldn't put necessarily these two cards together, but this was what I was told needed to come through. So let's see. Oh, interesting. By the book. So it's a number 11. So I'm first of all drawn to the 11, which I feel is, the 1-1. It's a master number. It's talking about new beginnings. And I think it's very interesting that we're getting a new beginning when the 9 of Swords, is an ending. It's conclusions. It's resolutions. It's coming to the end of a chapter and saying, okay, what's next? And of course, this person can't see what's next because they got their head buried in their hands or in their arms. And they're focused on, it's not even on the internal. They're just focused on the ick that's all around them. And by the book is coming through because I feel like what this is saying, if you stick to what you know, if you go with what you know, you can never go wrong. There's mastery in going with what you know. So by the book kind of indicates, like I'm going to go based on what someone else wrote, and I'm going to follow their instructions to a T. Think of a recipe. But I'm going to use recipe as an analogy here. So by the book, I feel like it doesn't mean that you have to do it based on someone else's way of doing things. Here's how I roll. I love to cook. I have a billion different recipes, and I love Ina Garten. I love Barefoot Contessa. I have just about everything that she's created. And there are so many recipes that I use of hers where I love the original recipe, but I always have to kind of add my own flavor or my own flair. And so I go by the book and I do what she says to do. And then I add, in addition to what she's got, I add my little flair. And I feel like the message for all of us is the mastery comes in. If we are bringing in something new and we need some support to bring resolution, or that we're seeing a lot of endings occurring and we're not quite sure what the beginning is, you want to make sure that you're following a basic recipe, but that you have the freedom to be able to add to that recipe whatever it is that you want. In this particular card, we've got a beautiful blue sky. We've got a bit of desert with, I want to say there's a kind of a chessboard or a checkerboard, which whenever I see that in a card, it always indicates to me the game of life that is being played. And then we've got a desert. So the game of life is at the sort of the forefront here. And then you've got these three beautiful elephants. So it's a little family of elephants. And you notice that they're not walking on the game of life. They're walking slightly outside of the game of life. So in many ways, they're not walking on the board itself exactly, but they're not walking that far off the board either. They are adding their own path. They're adding their own energy. They are following their intuition, and they're going by their book. They're going by their book. So how can you go by your book this week when you are noticing all of this stuff happening and you want to make a difference? You want to make a change, but you don't necessarily want to do it in the way that someone else has done it before, or you feel that it's not enough, or there's more that you can contribute. There's more that you can show up for. I feel like you want to go by the book and add your own spice. Also, game of life. I want to talk about this that has nothing to do with the message of this card. What I'm feeling that we are all in this week in some major ways is the game that is life, the game that we are all kind of walking through, living in. We're on the game board, all of us together. Here's how I like to talk about the game. Yes, we are in the game, but we don't have to allow the game to control us. We, at any given time, can take a break and remove our game piece from the board and observe from the sidelines until we decide that we want to step into it again. And I feel like that's a really important message for all of us, that we are going to be seeing some pretty crazy stuff. We are going to be seeing some things where rules are getting broken, or perhaps that the rule is there for the chosen few, but not for the rest. And I feel like for each of you, it's important to recognize that I can choose to remove my piece from the board for a while and observe. And then through that observation, I can strategize how I wish to sort of reinsert myself. So I feel like the message there with the game of life is it's about empowerment. It's about empowering yourself, reminding yourself again that you have free will, and reminding yourself that you have the ability to see things differently than the majority of the people that live on this planet. You have that bird's eye view, or maybe that sneak peek behind the curtain, behind the scenes. You know what the truth is. You know what's going on, or you know what the truth is from within you. So step into that space. Go by your book. Listen to your book. Play the game of life using your rule book, nobody else's, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. All right, Keone, I actually remembered that I'm supposed to do an angel channeling. So let me see what comes through with the angel channeling today.
Oh, so I don't have to sing? Okay.
You don't have to sing. You don't have to sing. Greetings, dear ones. I am Archangel Chamuel, here to speak again for the Archangelic Collective. It is my honor to offer to all of you how amazing each of you are to all of us as we witness you moving and gliding through this very chaotic time on Earth. While you all do not feel as though you are reflecting a smooth path. We see things from a different perspective. We see all of the moving parts of your lives, all of the choices, the paths, the goals that you have set for yourselves in order to elevate in your soul growth as coalescing in a beautiful symphony. It is important that each of you give yourselves what we would say is a break. Understand that we do not have expectation. We have wishes and hopes, and we have a blueprint that we refer to help keep you on track with your personal goals and with the collective goal of bringing humanity into a new era of loving energy. While we see that this is a strain on all of you to witness humanity as you would perceive it, not growing, not changing their ways, we would offer to you that we see the shifts and the changes every single day. And we wish to impart our pure joy at the expansion of these shifts. It was not always a guarantee that you would arrive at this space, at this historic time on your planet. And here you are. And it is no small feat, as they say. So understand at this time that all that you do and all that you create is significant to the shifting and changing that is happening. And you will see on the other side of these shifts the fruits of your labor. You will see an elevated society. You will see more heart-based decisions. You will see more love in action. Hold to this vision, even when all else feels chaotic and unnerving and dissociated. For you holding to this vision will allow others to hold on to the vision as well. Not all on this planet carry that vision within their DNA. You do. Embrace this. I step back now with much love and honor for the opportunity to speak these words into your heart. Be well. Loving me some chamois. All right. So what is next, Keone? My brain is in the clouds right now. Yay! Grab your decks time. So everyone, go and grab a tarot deck or your favorite oracle deck. It matters not what the deck is, bring it on by. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take the general message that was just given, and I'm going to help you to be able to bring it into a more personalized individual level so that you know how you need to apply this message in your life this week. And this is a great time for anyone who wants to come on live to let Keone know so that you can get put into our backstage, and we will be calling you up. And for those of you who are a little bit camera shy and you don't want to necessarily be on camera, A, you can leave your camera off and just have the sound. B, we are happy to also take comments and questions within the feed, and we will do our best to get through as many as we can in the time allotted. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to sort of stay a little bit in my channeled space and channel 2 questions that are going to help us to be able to bring this generalized message into the physical for our individual needs.
All right, and while Stacy is channeling, this is where I usually get to run my mouth. Okay, thank you for joining us on Facebook and YouTube. Loving all the comments. I have starred some of those questions that you all have. We will get to those through the Q&A. Again, as Stacy said, if you have your own cards or if you would like a card pulled for you, just put that in the comments. So just say, Stacy, I would like, or Keone, I would like a card pulled for me. If you have your own cards, pull your cards and make sure you comment on what the card was. We have 2 people backstage. We will get to you first, and then we will go to the comment section. If you want to join, just click that link and it will put you backstage. We'll be here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. with the lovely Stacy and her knucklehead assistant, Keone. Also, make sure that you go on the YouTube. We have some other services that you can click on the link and go to her website and check those out. It is very important that we love for you to comment after the episode as well. Tell us how you liked it. Anything that you want to say, go ahead and say it. We review those comments and we respond. Please make sure you like. And if you're on Facebook and you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, it'd be a big help to Stacy if you go to the YouTube and subscribe. Hit that notification. You can continue to watch from Facebook. In the future, if we ever have technical difficulties and you lose the feed on Facebook, you can join us on YouTube.
Thank you, Keone. That's awesome. Awesome. All right, I got our 2 questions. Our first card pull today is, how can you add your own energy to the recipe, the by the book recipe? How can you add your own energy to the recipe? So that's our first card pull.
Mm-hmm.
The second card pull is, how can you maintain your happiness frequency through sorrow around you?
Oh.
Yes. So this is going to be an important one. How can you maintain your happiness frequency through any sorrow that you might see or witness or feel around you this week?
Oh, I know that.
Who's up first?
I'm going to be taking notes. First, we have the tried and true. I had Ragu last week, so this week you get Indu.
Oh, yay! Hey, Indu, how are you?
Good. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Keone. Nice to be here.
Awesome to have you here. We missed you last week.
No, I was here. Raghu was.
You were here. Raghu was just he was in the limelight.
Yes.
Well, his message was absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing. I forgot to mention that actually to everyone. Keone surprised me by getting people to make comments about things that they loved about the show. So I want to just take a minute to say lots of love to everyone who did that and everyone who showed up for the pre-record as well. It made my week. It really did. So thank you for that. So all right, Indu, what deck are you pulling from today?
Well, I got a brand new deck.
Ooh.
The Mahabharata Oracle.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love, it's like a Ganesh.
It's actually an elephant from the, he's one of the characters in the great story of Mahabharata.
Oh, very cool.
And this deck has 36 cards, oracle cards, and they're all based on the characters from that big story. It's an epic, so, and that story will be for another time. But the card stock is really wonderful.
Oh, beautiful gold gilded edges. Those are my faves.
And it's got the Om at the back. It's a very, very Indian card.
Yes,
And the
beautiful.
images are just outstanding.
Wow. Are you selling the deck today?
No, I'm just playing with it. I just love it, love it, love
Love
it.
it. Oh, I didn't mean for you to stop. I think it's great. But you're like promoting the deck. The author of the deck is going to be needing to send you an affiliate link and a
I'm,
big
I'm, I'm really, really excited about this. And somehow the questions that you have for this week, this was the first card that I pulled.
Oh, very cool. Superpower. Oh my God. And it's a 30. So tell me when we're talking about the card, how can you add your own energy to the recipe that by the book? What's the first thing that you're drawn to on the card?
I think it's all the bright white light behind him.
And what does the bright white light symbolize for
For
you?
me, it's knowledge.
So knowledge is your superpower, and
Uh,
that's how you can add it to your mix this week.
is that is kind of your discerning power. You can see, you can feel, you can judge, and then and do what is necessary to deal with stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And
Um,
we have inner knowledge, inner wisdom, and we have the outer knowledge, the outer wisdom that we gain and we know from interacting with others. So when I say the inner and outer, what is the one that you lean into the most?
the inner one,
Gotcha.
because the inner one makes you stronger from inside,
Perfect.
and then you can glide or float over issues as they may arise, and just be dispassionate.
Yes,
Situations come, situations go, but if you are strong in your mind and in your thought, then you can overcome anything.
absolutely. It's sort of a non-attachment energy.
Right.
I am attached to nothing, then I have access to everything. And it's all good, and I'm grateful for all of it.
So that's what I'm feeling with this card.
Beautiful. So your second card pull, how can you maintain your happiness frequency through any sorrow that is around you?
It's interesting. The card that I pulled was number 36, and it's impartial.
Oh my goodness. Well, you were just talking about that dispassionate, being impartial, so being neutral, not getting into the high and not getting into the low necessarily. It's sort of staying in that balance, that even keel.
Right.
So what is the first color that you are drawn to when
Again, I'm drawn to the yellowish at this end. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, the card has a lot of blues and some red and stuff, but I'm still kind of attracted to the gold here.
yeah,
It's going with the theme with the other card.
absolutely. So they're tying together. And what is the gold representing for you at this time?
Some kind of an energy that uplifts you.
Love it.
Um, because the character in the story is not one of my favorites, but the message impartial, um, it rings true.
I love that.
Basically, through this week's meditation, I've just been kind of feeling very loosey cool. Not getting attached to anything.
And
Feeling,
that's perfect.
yeah. This guy is actually, you might have heard of Krishna, right? The big god Krishna. He's his older brother.
Oh, cool.
Uh,
Okay.
and he never took sides in that big war that happened. He thought he was impartial, but again, as I said, it's a debate for another time.
Sure. Absolutely.
These
So
are the cards.
this week for you, keeping your happiness frequency means I'm not going to get pulled into the nonsense and shenaniganery of somebody else's drama. And I'm also not necessarily going to get pulled into the heightened, exciting, blah, blah, blah about somebody else. I'm going to send love in both directions. I'm going to maintain my frequency and be happy for where I'm at in my present moment.
Look within myself and find strength there. Find the guidance needed to proceed in life.
Beautiful. You're in good stead for this week. I love it.
Thanks, Stacy. Thanks,
You are
Kayomi.
so welcome. So
Yeah.
great.
Apple's hand.
Can I see that first card?
The first card is here.
Yeah, that's not the first thing that comes to my mind. I see muscles.
So strength, muscles is strength, right? It helps you.
I thought she was going to say, first thing that comes to my mind is a chest.
Oh, well, after the gym, Kayomi, that's where you should be right now.
Oh, there you go. Oh, snap.
All right.
Very cute.
Our next guest is coming on with audio is Nini Leach. I hope I said that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize.
Hi, Nini. How you doing? I think Nini is muted.
Nini, unmute, please. Or she may have stepped away. Okay, I'll try to come back to you, Nini. Just message me in the private chat because she was chatting earlier, and I'll bring her back on. Let's go to our comments section.
All right.
Okay. BJ Bird said, hello. I would love channeled message about my son.
Okay, BJ. Be at peace with your choices, for these choices are held in the highest light of the divine. Know that there is more to this situation than what can currently be seen or felt. You have been given a rare and precious gift, the gift of higher wisdom. In enacting this higher wisdom through this dynamic, you are elevating your son into his highest potential. Both of you come from the same origins, the same roots, and this is important for you to consider, for there truly is no separation. You have both come onto the planet at this time to explore the levels of love that are rarely experienced when in your natural state. While it may not feel loving in this human form, there is much that is being learned and much that is being received to enact the higher wisdom that you have both come here to express. Peace at this time must be able to flow through you. It is not something you can manufacture. It is something you must step to the side to allow. We offer this message as a reminder of what your heart already knows. You are loved. You are loved by your son. And you are loved in the higher realms of the all that is. Create the love that you are. For the creation of love is wisdom. Thank you, BJ, for the opportunity to channel. I really appreciate that. I hope that lands.
All right. Thank you, Stacy. Patsy said, and I hate to hear these kind of things, but this happens in life. I just lost my mom. Any messages? Thank you.
Patsy, I'm so sorry. My condolences. It's so rough when we lose people that we care about, when we lose people that we have a lot of emotional entanglements with. So my heart goes out to you. I'm being asked actually to pull a card. So I'm going to pull from the Oracle, the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Loyal heart. So I feel very much that you losing your mother, there's an energy of you feeling as though you've lost the only person on the planet who is truly loyal to you. And I'm feeling very much that that is not actually the truth, that you have a loyal heart, and therefore you are mirroring that heart out into the world. But I'm feeling very strongly that your mother, in her new form of life, or her new volume, not a chapter of life, but her new volume of life, is really going to be bringing individuals into your life that are going to also be, I want to say, reciprocal in that loyal energy. You and your mom had your moments, but for the most part, you were very close. And I feel that there's a lot of that closeness that you are always going to feel, even though she is not physically in her body any longer. In fact, what I keep hearing is she's choosing, like she's taking it upon herself. I feel like she was kind of a little spitfire, a little house on fire, because she's taking it upon herself to make her presence known even more so than the way that she did it in the physical. So there's almost an energy of her taking a challenge to make sure that you're always going to know she's around. You're always feeling her presence. I feel that there was a lightheartedness about her as well, or I want to say kind of a playful attitude, or maybe even like a pot stirring attitude from time to time from a fun perspective. And I feel like what she keeps sort of showing me is this energy of like knocking things off the counter and moving your keys and making sure that there are birds showing up at your window that are squawking at one another. And it's so obvious to you that you have to stop what you're doing to pay attention to the hilarity of it all. So I feel like she wants you to understand that she is loyal to you no matter the form that she is in. It's important for you to feel the grief, to feel the loss, but to not get lost in the loss. She doesn't want you to get lost in the loss. In fact, she wants you to live in ways that she feels that she didn't always necessarily live. And I feel like she lived a pretty decent life. And she did a lot of crazy things that she enjoyed and wanted to do. So it's not that I feel like she missed out on a lot, but the feeling that I'm getting here is she wants you to, do it even better, to do even more. And she's going to, in essence, sort of live vicariously through you. So I feel that the loyal heart message is coming through also because she's letting you know that she loves you. The heart is that symbol of love and that deep, true connection. So you're never going to lose that. Even though she is no longer in the physical, she's always going to be around you, and she is going to be, I want to say, pushing your buttons a little bit with it, just to kind of get a rise out of you or a laugh out of you, or to just simply let you know that she's with you, that she sees you, she feels you, she supports you. Thank you so much for submitting your question and sending much love your way.
All right. We have Lisa. Lisa says, I got the Hermit, Queen of Swords, and Knight of Swords.
Ooh, okay. So I'm going to, just the way this is kind of out here, because she pulled 3. Okay. Lisa, I'm going to say that the Hermit was your first card for the first question, and then the other 2 you kind of pulled for the second. That's kind of the feeling I've got. So The Hermit card, how can you add your own energy to the recipe, to the by the book? Well, the Hermit card is beautiful because it really is that deeply personal self-awareness journey. It is a deep dive that nobody else can take with you. Only you can take it because it's within. Others can support you while you're on the journey, but you're doing the deep dive. And typically on a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, the Hermit is shown with a lantern, and the lantern doesn't really give off a whole lot of light. So I feel like how you can add your own energy to the recipe is really by going within, being very self-aware about what you have to contribute, and then opening that lantern up a little bit and letting the light shine. Don't keep it within you. You want to share it. You want to spread the love is what I'm feeling. So how can you add your own energy to the recipe? You want to be able to shine your light. You want to do that deep reflective dive within to figure out what it is that you have to say, that you want to share, and then sharing it, not keeping it to yourself. Typically that lantern only allows you to see 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. What I'm seeing is opening that door and allowing that light to come out a little bit more. It's not exactly what the card says, but it's what I'm getting for you. How can you maintain your happiness frequency through the sorrow that may be around you? So the Queen of Swords and Knight of Swords are really interesting messages. Queen of Swords is boundaries. Knight of Swords is, I want to say, a bit of impulsivity, but also inspired action in that I'm given a task and I need to move forward. And Swords is the realm of the mind. It's mental energy. It's communication. So, and our intuition as well. I should throw that in because that's kind of important. So how can you maintain your happiness frequency? Boundaries, and not being so impulsive with what you're saying, what you're speaking, what you're communicating out into the world. Rather than that impulsivity, it's I have boundaries and I'm just going to take a minute to really think about what it is I want to say before I actually say it. That's going to help you to maintain that happiness frequency, because let's face it, sometimes when it's just blah, 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 it might shift the frequency. It might not come out the way we want it to come out, or it might not be received in the way that we intend it. And you are the kind of person that is sensitive to that. And if you feel that you've hurt someone or that you're not being understood, you're going to be upset about that. You're going to go in and try and fix it. And then you're bringing your energy down because you're now into more of the, I want to say, the 3D energy. So you want to make sure that you've got boundaries around who is worthy and deserving of the investment of your time and your energy, who you're giving that to. And then I don't want to be impulsive. I want to give a little more thought to what I'm going to say rather than diving right on into the fray. I want to kind of take a little bit of a step back. So thanks for sharing your card pulls. That was a lot of fun. Hope that resonates with you. And it sounds like you're going to have a great week.
All right. Nini, she is on the live, but I can't get a hold of her. But she did put in the chat earlier, I would love to know about job and finance.
Okay. So Nini, I'm sorry that we're not able to get you on live, but I'm happy to tune in here for you. So job and finance. So when I tap into your job energy right now, I really feel like you're kind of hanging on, like you're doing a good job of it, but your heart isn't in it. And I feel like you're the kind of person that really needs to have your heart in what it is that you're doing. And I'm also hearing that you need not praise and accolades, but you need like words of affirmation, or you need to know that what you're doing is making a difference in somebody's life. And I feel that you're not always getting that. You're getting it to a certain degree, but you're not always getting it. And I just keep seeing, it's like I'm seeing the thermometer. And this is your, I always call it the love cup, but for whatever reason, I'm seeing it as a thermometer. So temperature, hot and cold. And I feel like there are times when you're getting everything that you need and you're like, whoo, this is great. My head's getting big here, slow it down. And then there are other times when you get nothing, crickets. And you're like, wait a second, I'd love to have a little bit of the balance. I'd love to have a little bit of the happy medium here, but there's an energy for you where you kind of need more of that on a consistent basis. And I feel like the job that you're in right now, or the environment through which you are performing the job duties, is not as conducive to your needs at this time as what it could be. And quite frankly, I'm hearing what it should be. So I feel that some of the energy of where you're at is not really in alignment with who you are, who you're becoming, and those needs that you're recognizing. I don't feel like you have to necessarily jump ship. But what I do feel is you want to kind of take a look around at the different positions within the organization that you're working for. And I feel that you would find more joy in a different position, a slightly different position. It doesn't feel necessarily like you need a promotion as much as you need sort of a lateral move, but I feel like honestly you need to be working either with a different team or for a different manager. And I feel that that tweak would make a huge difference in your job satisfaction. When we're talking about your finance, from here until about the end of the year, I want to say just sort of finishing out the year, what I see is you're going to have some ups and downs, but it's not a roller coaster up and down. It feels like little ups and downs. What it feels like, honestly, is there's going to be maintainable, that seems to be the theme, a maintainable energy around your financial state. I'm going to say to you, October feels like you're going to get a bit of a surprise, and a not so pleasant surprise around a bill that you weren't anticipating or expecting. But then I see in November you receiving a pleasant surprise that almost sort of brings that unpleasant surprise into balance. So I really feel there's a lot of energy around you trying to find the balance in your finances. I feel that next year, just kind of as a sort of a heads up, I feel that next year there's going to be more opportunity for, I want to say, the money to flow. And I feel that you've got a couple of goals in mind. One feels like it's connected to like a savings account where you're trying to, there's something specific that you want to do with that particular money. And there's a chunk of money that you're going to be taking and putting towards something, an investment or a purchase of sorts. You're not getting ahead with that right now. Don't worry about it. Next year, I feel that there's going to be more opportunity to be able to put that money aside to build that up. For the remainder of the year, what I keep seeing is there's some, ups and downs. They're minor ups and downs, but it's basically always going to help you to sort of, I want to say, stay even keel. You're not necessarily going to get ahead, but you're not necessarily going to get behind either. So I hope that helps. Again, I feel that 2023 is going to be a little bit better for you where that's concerned. And thank you so much for submitting your question. I appreciate that.
All right, we've got 4 left and then some awesome comments for us to see. Christine would like to blow. I'd love to know if I will need to rebrand my business. Oh, I'm hanging on for this one.
I'm hearing a yes. And I'm hearing it's important from an energetic perspective to rebrand. And there's something about the name that you're going with. So I don't know if you're a sort of a numerology follower, but I would do some numerology on some of the names or the naming that you're looking at doing, because I feel that there's a certain energy that you're wanting. And I'm hearing that it's the energy of abundance. So I'm going to say to you, the number 8 is important. So you're going to want to kind of play around with the numerology with the name of the business so that you can sort of work it out to be able to get a number 8 in the mix. I'm also feeling like you can rebrand without having to do the entire thing. So you want to look at, what is the overall vision, and then what things can I put underneath that vision that can tie into the vision without me having to be too broad, or on the flip side, to be too focused or too streamlined or too specific. So I feel like the broad is better. Broad is better than super specific, but you don't want to be overly broad. And I feel that you've got a couple of different things that you do that you're going to want to highlight. Find a way to highlight them where they're kind of symbiotic, or where they connect or combine. And you want to kind of focus on the connection piece, because how you deal with them separately is, I want to say it's kind of like a no-brainer, or it just, you're going to figure it all out. Oh, I'm just noticing we have 11 and 11 on the screen, and we're at an hour. So there's lots of 111s while I'm talking to you. So I feel that's a good message too. Really positive on that. It's a fresh start, new beginnings, and really incorporating that energy, the angel numbers into the mix. And again, numerology is really important. But you want to focus on where those two things that you specialize in connect, because the rest of it will figure itself out. But the rebranding, it's about how do they connect. You can offer it separately, but you're branding it combined. I hope that makes some sense to you. What I am going to say to you is I feel a lot of success with this rebranding. And I feel when you're doing this rebranding, there's almost a cutoff of energy of someone that maybe was connected to the business before that no longer is, but still feels that they have some kind of hold on there. There's an energetic hold that when you rebrand, it's going to be completely cleared. And that's what you need. So step into that. Thank you so much for submitting your question. All right, Terry, I could really use a card pull this week for direction with dealing with adult daughter and mother communication. Absolutely. All right, Terry. Oh, you're getting yang. So yang energy. This is the actionable energy, the yang to the yin. This is the divine masculine. This is the giving portion. And what I feel here in terms of looking for direction on how to deal with it, you want to stand in your own power. You want to understand that what your daughter is taking is, quite honestly, it feels like it's too much, taking too much. So from a yang perspective, what you want to do is you want to stand up and you want to say, okay, I'm willing to go here, but not here. I'm willing to do this, but not this. I'm willing to concede to this, but not this. I feel like I'm talking a little bit about boundary, but it's less the boundary and more the reason behind the standing in that truth. I also feel that there's some manipulation that's kind of happening here as well. And I feel like you don't want to be triangulated. So the communication that you're having, I feel like it's not only with the daughter, it feels like it's with another party as well. But that party is silent, or that party is in the background and you can't see that party. That party is influencing what's going on. And that party also is, I want to say, strong in its, in its taking, or strong in its advising. And the advising that's going on is not necessarily for the benefit of the desired outcome between the two of you, in terms of resolve or reconciliation or awareness and understanding. It's more about that particular individual's needs. So I feel like with that message, it's important for you to recognize that any conversation that you're having, it's not pure from that person. It's being blended, or there's a bleed through of somebody else's stuff. What do you do about that? You simply recognize that you can't take at face value everything that's being said, and you step more into the space of, okay, I'm going to give you this, but not this. I'm going to stand in these spaces. I'm going to stand in these places that I feel comfortable with. I'm standing in these places that show that I am open to reconciliation, but that I am not open to reconciliation if it requires the loss of my truth. And this third party that's involved, I feel, will be exposed or will fall by the wayside, because I'm seeing it in a couple of months. Something's going to happen that's going to reveal their true intentions. And there will be a little bit more movement, I want to say, at that time for you. So hang in there. Be clear on what you will and will not give. Be open to reconciliation without losing your truth. I hope that helps. And in a couple of months, I feel that there is going to be some more positive movement and flow in the direction of resolve. So sending you lots and lots of love. Michelle, can't stay for the whole thing. Pull a card for me. All right, Michelle, I'm pulling a card. Okay, I got yin. So apparently we just had yang and now we've got yin. So the yin and the yang really want to be known. And interesting that I've been talking a lot about balance today as well. So I can't negate that. And I think that's a little message for everyone. So Michelle, getting the yin card, this week you really want to be focusing on what is it that I need to be doing for me? Where is it that I am sacrificing my own needs, my own energy to please another? And I feel that there is some people pleasing that's going on in your world right now, and some of it you're aware of and some of it you're not seeing yet. You're thinking that it's something else, you're calling it something else and labeling it something else, but at the core of it, it's people pleasing because you're worried that this person is going to walk out the door, or you're worried that this person is going to say to you, what you're giving me is not enough. And I want to say to you, the yin card is coming up because it wants you to take a look at that so that you can adjust your motivation and adjust your actions accordingly. Individual that is, I want to say, connected to what it is that I'm feeling here will absolutely continue to take advantage of the people pleasing if they know that it's always available. And I want to say it's not conscious. This isn't a person that is mean and horrible and out to get you. What I feel like is if you're offering it, if you're presenting it and they think that that's just who you are all the time and how you are, and that you take great joy in doing that, or that they don't recognize that maybe you feel obligated or that you're doing it from a particular sense of fear or lack. They're not cluing into that. So they're just going to continue to say, oh yeah, more. And I feel that they give you some recognition for it, but it's out of balance. It's not enough, I want to say, to really be filling your love cup. So pay attention to that this week. I feel that this week is providing you with an opportunity to see or to witness a wound. It's a smaller wound, but it's a wound nonetheless, that you can sort of break out of that cycle or that pattern, and you can heal that wound once and for all, and really stand in a space of empowerment, of empowered decision and empowered choice. Yin also is about receiving. So again, what is it that you're giving to yourself? What are you receiving? What are you stopping yourself from receiving this week? It's all tied into this particular card. So, and it's a number 2. So it definitely is, I want to say, indicative. Oh yeah, we had a by the book, which was an 11, and the Yang card was 1. Just wanted to point that out when I got all that 111s earlier. The Yin card is a number 2. So it is the divine masculine and divine feminine coming together. It is balance. It is harmony. It is union. And you want healthy unions. You want balance in your unions. And this is what you're working towards this week. Thank you so much for submitting your question. I appreciate that. And hope you're able to get that on the flip side.
All right. We got 2 more. I had to disappear because of an accident. We won't talk about that. Terry says, I would like a card pull for me. Thank you.
All right, Terry, here we go.
You're going to love the last one, though.
Exchanging gifts. So this week, Terry, you really want to be paying attention to any interchange or exchange that you have with another individual who is telling you what they're worth, or is telling you, that the grass is greener on their side, or is telling you how it's going to be. You want to really be paying attention to, if you're having to tell me all of those things, then there's a little bit of insecurity there, because I could run circles around you. And it's not from an ego perspective. It's not that you're going to be telling this person off. What I feel is it's being aware of what you are bringing to the table. I feel that you're going to run into this with somebody where they're letting you know their worth, or they're letting you know their skills and abilities, and they're presenting themselves in such a way as though they're better than you are. And they're not super obvious about it, but it is there. And so there's a tendency for you to believe it. And then you step into that energy and you go, oh, well, I guess I'm not qualified, or maybe what I have to bring to the table isn't enough, or maybe I need to rethink this. But what's really going to happen is you're going to recognize, oh, my skill set's bigger, or what we're dealing with, that's actually my wheelhouse. Your wheelhouse is over here, but you're trying to tell me that your wheelhouse is here. And actually, I'm really good at that. So let me handle that, and you can handle this over here. You don't have to hog the whole scene or the whole show. I can play my lane. I can play my part. So exchanging gifts. I feel like whenever you have the opportunity to exchange your gifts, you need to know your worth, and don't always believe what people say. You want to tap into what you're feeling around that individual, what you're feeling around that person, because really that person will definitely, that's how they operate. They operate, and it's that, it's a fake it till you make it attitude. And it's not necessarily a negative thing, but it's definitely, they're used to getting their way because they're used to presenting themselves in such a way that is very confident and implies, success and a knowing and all of those things, but it's not necessarily the truth. So you don't want to get bowled over. You want to know what you're bringing to the table, and you want to just acknowledge that, that, okay, you can do that, but this is kind of my wheelhouse, and this is what I can do. This is what I can bring to the table on this project or this particular issue. And we don't have to compete. We can collab. And that's the other thing. This person is doing this because they're always in a space of competition. No matter who they meet, they're always in a place of competition. And ultimately, at the core of them, it's because they don't feel worthy. They don't feel good enough, but they'll never let you know that. So you're putting an end to that by stepping into your own power. So I hope that makes some sense to you. Good luck with that. I can't wait to see how that turns out.
All right, and the last one, and my favorite one, I call nonsense on both these card pulls. Energy Oracle deck, card 1, Journey, card number 2, Door to Romance. Call me a cynic.
Okay, so Energy Oracle deck, I have that deck. Card 1, like actually card number 1 or card pull number 1 is Energy Oracle. And then the Journey.
Number 1 and card pull number 2.
Door to Romance is the card number 2. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what the Energy Oracle deck card was. So how can you add your own energy to the recipe? By the book. So if we're looking at the Energy Oracle deck, some of the imagery in that deck, like they have, man holding a heart, woman holding a heart, or woman on the street or something like that. And it's very, I want to say it's not practical. So I choose to look at it as energy rather than, the man and Door to Romance and things like that. But let me call that when you're talking about the call me a cynic, and that's your second one. How can you maintain your happiness frequency through sorrow, through any sorrow around you? Door to Romance, what it feels like to me for you is it's opening up your imagination. It's opening up to the possibilities of what can be. And romance can also be the relationship with self. I talk about that a lot in my Phoenix Rising event, that, there's love of another, there's romance and partnership and all that stuff, but there's also partnership with self. And where are you at with partnership and self? And that's what I'm picking up for you here. How can you maintain your happiness frequency this week, given what's coming around? The Door to Romance, basically, I feel is saying, where are you at in your relationship with self? How are you feeling about yourself? Are you loving yourself? Are you liking yourself? Are you in that space where the honeymoon period's over and you're getting on each other's nerves? How can you bring that back together? How can you, I want to say, be aware of your wholeness and really evaluate the importance of all of the aspects of you in that? It's falling in love with self. So don't worry so much about the Door to Romance, because I don't feel that that's necessarily a literal message. that you're going to meet someone this week. It could happen. It's not what I'm tapping into right now, but I'm definitely feeling, oh, I see energy deck. The card is journey. Okay, I'll read the first one in a second. I'm just going to finish up with the second one here. So definitely feeling for you that you want to keep your frequency high by falling in love with self, connecting with self, and understanding that I can give myself all the things that I need in this moment right now. I don't necessarily need partnership with another. Sure, I'd love it. I'm open to it. I would welcome it. But that's not necessarily the thing that's going to keep me happy, because that's seeking happiness outside of myself. So I feel that that's the message with the door to romance. So card number 1, journey. I'm reading it now properly, so I apologize. How can you add your own energy to the recipe? Buy the book. Journey. So journey card, taking a journey. And I feel like for you, adding your own energy, it's stepping outside of your particular space right now, your environment. I'm feeling that the journey means movement, that you need to do some things that are a little bit different from the everyday, the day to day. And that's going to give you experience to remind you of, oh yeah, I really do enjoy doing this, or oh my God, I haven't laughed about something like that in so long. What a great memory, or what a great reminder of that aspect of me. And when you're reminded, because you're outside of the environment that you're typically in, what it's going to do then is it's going to say, oh yeah, I can add this and I can add that. And there's this part of me that I haven't seen in a while. And oh, I like this part. So I feel like for you, the journey is about movement, getting out of your space for a little while, shifting things up, and having some reminders of those aspects of yourself that you haven't quite connected with in a while. Those are the things that you're going to add to the recipe. And what a delicious recipe it's going to turn out to be this week. Thank you so much for submitting your card pulls. Sorry, it took me a little while to clue in. I'm in the clouds, so just the way it was written, I got confused. So hope it makes some sense to you. Thanks so much for submitting your questions. Sending lots of love.
All right, Stacy, we have run out of time for questions. Just want to go through a few comments from the beginning. Terry says hello from Texas. I just put that up there because I love when people are watching from all over.
Yeah.
Indu and Ragu, you are rock stars. Thank you.
They are.
I love when the subscribers love the other subscribers. It's always
yeah, my people are so supportive of other people.
Mm-hmm. DJ Bird says much love, Stacy.
Thank you.
Hits with the heart.
Love it.
Ragu says great message from Archangel.
Thank you.
Terry says, oh my goodness, exactly what's happening. That's from your reading. Another one from your reading. Book is very literal, but I agree with this assessment. Thank you. And your card pull was right on the money. I have been coming into my gifts. There has been someone who has made me second guess myself with my gifts because of them. I'm going to realize it's them, not me. Thanks for the validation.
Oh, my pleasure. And, with this kind of journey, it's really important, especially when we're dealing with our own gifts. It's really important that we trust our intuition. We go within, that we don't give away our power to other people. Just because you say you're spiritual doesn't necessarily mean you're living a spiritual life or a spiritual path. So use your discernment in all of your choices. That includes anything that I'm saying. You want to really evaluate, does it resonate with me? If it does, awesome. If it doesn't, awesome. Dismiss it and move forward and go with what you know. That's so important.
All right, everybody, tune in next week. And remember, you come on live, you get to go first, and always put your comments in the chat and we'll get to them in order. Sorry that we ran out of time. We had a lot more questions, but hey, tune in next week. Get in here at 8 o'clock and you'll be hot on the list. Stacy, you can take us out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Just want to give you a heads up. I'm working really hard on my Ignite Your Wings Wisdom for Transformation membership community. We're all in a phase of change and transformation, and we've all got all sorts of Phoenix phases throughout our lives. And the Phoenix phase is the transformation. And so I'm really excited to be offering this and sharing this stuff up with you guys. I'm working on a quiz. I'm working on all sorts of support and care packages. I've got a lot of juicy things in the membership itself to really be able to help you monthly through any support that you need around your transformations, and really excited to be sharing it all with you. So keep your eyes and ears peeled, and you'll be hearing some new stuff from me in terms of when we are releasing, when we're going live, and when you might be able to get in on the action a little sooner than the average bear. Take care, guys. Have the most amazing week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Ciao.